today's video we are going to be designing proof number 8, which is called in Spanish placa oscilante con desplazamiento. The first thing we have to do is just to open a new document. We're going to look at the interface, the design interface right now. And the second thing that I like to do is just to save this new part immediately. Then the second thing that we have to do is just to identify if our handwritten sketch it's in millimeters, centimeters, meters, or in this case, inches. And just to change this configuration, we are going to select top plane, normalize it, open a sketch, and immediately start drawing. In this case, I'm going to select a line from the middle, the center, just with the smart dimensions. I'm going to assign a value of 1 over 2. In this case, it's important to mention that I introduce the value as a fraction, but the software automatically converts them into decimals. The second thing that I would like to do is just, I'm going to draw here a 3-point arc, and with Control, I'm going to click on Control and select this line, and then Control again and select this other line, and here it's going to appear a list of geometric relations. In this case, I'm going to choose tangent, and I'm going to introduce the value of 1 of radius. I'm going to do the same thing over here, just approximately. I'm going to make it tangent here, and then we're going to look at this new geometric relations, which is equal. Once I have done this, we're ready to go to the next part. I'm going to draw 2 circles from the center of this arc. I'm going to assign a value for the diameter, which is in this case is 7 over 8. And I'm going to set them to be equal. Ready to go. The second thing that I have to do is just to join the quadrants and make sure it has the appropriate geometric relations. With trim tool, I'm going to just eliminate the part that we don't do, and now it's shaded. That's what we wanted to do. The second thing that I would like to do is just to draw some constructive lines from the circle. Make sure it's horizontal. It doesn't really matter the length for now, but it will matter later on. Here I'm going to draw another line, another constructive line, but this time now from the origin, vertical. Another constructive line here, and that's it. That's it for now. With smart measurements, just wait a minute, please. Okay, with the smart dimensions, we are going to select this and this. I'm going to assign a value of 60 degrees. And then I'm going to click on this line, and again on this line, just press ESC table. We select again a smart dimension, this and this, and assign a value of 30. Alright, there we have it. The second thing that we have to do is just to draw some circles. we have to draw some circles there, but in order to do that, first we have to sketch a bigger circle from the origin. We're going to give it a dimension value, which is in this case is going to be 3 and 3/4 multiplied by 2, because in my sketch, the sketch that was provided by the teacher, there it has a measurement of radius, but in this case I'm using a diameter, so I'm going to multiply it by 2. Once I have done this, I'm going to give a right click and convert it into constructive line. Just going to repeat it. There we have it. The second thing that we have to do is to draw a line here where it's coincident. So we already see a coincident in here, but it's between the center of this circle and this vertical line. Now I want another coincident from this bigger circle and the center of the smaller circle. Just coincident. We're going to give it the diameter. 1 diameter. I'm going to repeat the same on this side. Coincident, and then for the size, equal. There we have it. The next thing that we have to do is we have two options to draw an arc, 3-point arc, or to use this special tool. But in this case, we're going to use an arc. Make sure it's coincident on this side. It doesn't really matter for now. Just going to be the measurement of that line. And now we're going to make it tangent. Again, we're going to make it tangent of this on this side. Ready to go. And now I'm going to select this circle in the middle and this arc that I have created. I'm just going to click on equal. And there we have completely defined our line. I'm going to repeat the same on this side. Just wait a minute. Right. Just click on these two lines and tangent. These two entities and tangent. Alright. So it's automatically converted. I'm going just to start with the trim tool. I'm just going to start trimming some of this off. And we have to pay closer attention because it hasn't converted into a shape that is shaded, and it means that we still have some entities here that we need to trim. Once we have trimmed them, I have a shaded area. The second thing that I want to do here is to draw another constructive line from the origin as well. And I'm going to design two upper circles that have an angle of 15. And to identify where it's going to be positioned, we're going to draw a circle from the origin, convert it into a constructive circle, assign a value, which is in this case is 5 of radius, so in diameter is going to be 10. And here where these two lines intersect, I'm going to create my new circle. make sure it has both geometric relations, and then 5/8 as diameter. And again, another circle that is concentric, and that is going to be 5/8 times 2 in diameter. Ready. It's already starting to look a little bit like our sketch. The next thing that I would do is just to draw another circle. In this case, I prefer to work with circles, even though it's a bit messier, a little bit more messy than working with arcs, but this is the way I prefer it. Here I'm going to click on 1 times 2 and just going to give a relation between these two circles that is going to be equal. There we have it, completely defined. Then I'm going to use a 3-point arc. I'm going to select here that is coincident, here coincident, doesn't really matter for now the size. And now I'm just going to make these 2 lines tangent and these 2 entities tangent as well. And then I'm going to add the measurement that it's going to be 1 and 3/16 of radius. There we have it. I'm just going to trim this for now. And the second thing that I'm going to do is to, again, use an arc, make sure it's coincident, then make sure it's tangent, tangent here and tangent here. And then I'm just going to assign a measurement, just in this case 7/8 inches. There we have it, completely defined. The second thing that I would like to do here is this part. For that, I'm just going to simply draw a line that is coincident here, that is coincident here. In this case, look at these 2 squares. It's indicating that it's coincident and tangent at the same time. So I'm only going to be needing here. We have coincident and tangent at the same time. So it wasn't necessary to add manually the relations. I'm just going to trim a little bit of excess, and we're just missing this upper part. And again, there's 2 ways of doing it. I'm just going to choose the way that is best for me, which is I'm going to draw a circle, make sure it's coincident and tangent. Next thing is I'm going to draw an arc from here, coincident. Here I'm going to make it tangent manually. Here it's coincident but not tangent yet, tangent. Ready to go. And I'm going to assign the value of this radius, which is 1 and 1/4. There we have it. And the rest is just start trimming entities that we don't need. We need to be really careful here and make sure that we don't forget about anything. There we have it, completely defined. And now it's time to start trimming the other entities. Very carefully, remember. Just missing a small part in here. Because it hasn't turned completely shaded, just continue trimming. And there we have it, or completely defined and finished. Okay, so the final touches that we could do here is just to make sure these points, so that they don't appear blue, we just can make it coincident. It has turned black. We're going to do the same with this, coincident. We can really make it coincident to anything. Just coincident. And again, this point and this point. Coincident. And now if we try to go to feature and extrude boss, we're going to be able to do it. There we have it. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. Hello, welcome to another tutorial. Today we are going to be designing part that is called Prof 31, in Spanish, aleta de enfriamiento de tubo. So, the first thing we have to do is just remember, open a new document, select piece. The second most important thing is just to recognize the units of our sketch. In this case, the sketch has inches. So I'm going to switch the units to inches. Then I'm going to select a plane, in this case top, and open a croquis. Now I'm going to start just simply drawing some lines and circles and arcs until we have the final shape. So the first thing I want to do is just to simply grab a line, and from the origin I'm just going to extend the line over here and assign a quota of 1/2. The second thing that I want to do here, I can either draw a circle or just a 3-point arc. In this case, I'm going to choose an arc. The second thing that I want to do here is just to set some geometric relations, in this case horizontal, and then with smart dimensions, I'm going to give it a value of 2. There we have our first arc. The second thing is that I'm going to grab a line, and from the end of my arc, just going to draw a vertical line. In this case, I'm not going to give a value to this line yet, but I'm just going to make sure that from here to the line, there's a distance of 2.5. Alright, I'm going to repeat the same steps for the other half of my piece, but in this case, I'm going to select the arc from the origin. I'm not going to draw a line, just over here, and assign a relationship, horizontal, and at the end of this line, I'm going to draw another line. The second thing that I want to do here that is very important is just to set the dimension 1 and 1/2. Then from the origin to this line, we have a distance of 2.5. Alright, so here my piece already starts to make sense, but I'm going to need a constructive line from the origin and vertical. I'm going to assign a cota to this constructive line, a 3, and then I'm going to simply just draw another arc from here to here, over there. Just have to make sure that this point and this point are horizontal, this point and this point are coincident, and then a radius of 6. And there we have our completely defined outer shape of this design. Now the next thing that we want to do is just to simply draw the circles here inside the piece. So I'm going to grab a circle. I'm just going to see these pointed lines that looks like geometric lines. They're just indicating the geometric relations. Just going to make a click and then use smart dimensions to give it a value of 3/4. Alright, so I'm just going to assign the geometric relations vertical and horizontal to this point. And then it's completely fine. I'm going to repeat the same steps, but for the other circle over here. Assign a value of 1 and 1/4, and then I'm just going to simply give it the geometric relations horizontal and vertical. And this is our final piece. The next thing that we want to do just to make sure our croquis is correct is just to simply extrude the piece. And there we have it, completely defined and finished. Thank you so much for watching. Hi, welcome to today's tutorial. We are going to be designing proof number 37, which is called in Spanish Zapata y Freno. And well, the first thing we have to do is just to open a new document, a piece one. And then the first thing that I want to do is to just simply change from millimeters to centimeters, which are the units of our sketch. And the second thing that I want to do is just to immediately save it with the name of Prof 37. Okay. Now I'm going to position myself in the top plane, open a croquis, and start drawing. In this case, we have to identify that our piece are a circle. It's basically just drawing some circles and making some cuts. So I'm going to start with the first circle, then I'm going to continue with the outer circle that has a diameter of 12, just to arrange these measurements. The second thing that I want to do is just to simply draw another circle, but this time I'm going to make it constructive. I'm going to use the smart dimension to assign a value of 10. And now I want a constructive line from the upper quadrant to the lower quadrant. Then I'm going to start drawing some of my cuts. For that reason, I'm going to need two constructive lines to determine the angles of the circle. So it's going to be from here to here, it's 30, and from here to here with a smart dimension, another 30. Now in these intersection points between this horizontal line and this circle, I'm going to draw a second circle. I'm going to do the same for this side. As we see, it has already a geometric relation coincident to the vertical line, but is missing coincident to the circle. I'm going to repeat the same step for this side, coincident. And I'm going to assign a value for the diameter, which in this case is 0.5 times 0.5 times 2. And I'm going to assign another geometric relation so that they are equal. The second thing that I want to do here, just to draw an arc from these 2 points. Then I'm going to make sure it's tangent. Remember that we give these geometric relations by clicking on Control and then the line, and then Control again, and this other line, tangent. Then I want to make these 2 lines. Oh, no, they are not tangent. I'm going to delete this. They have to be equal. And there we have our completely defined line. I'm going to repeat the same steps for this. This and this, they have to be tangent. These 2 lines, tangent. And again, just can simply select the upper one to be equal. Then with the trim tool, we're going to start eliminating some excess. We have to make sure that we eliminate all those lines that we're not going to use, are not useful, and we have to zoom in. Repeat the same steps for the other side. We zoom in, eliminate the one we don't want, it's not useful, and once I eliminate on this side, then I have a shaded area, which is what I wanted for this. Then the thing that I want to do here is I'm going to visualize this and eliminate this coincident point because it may serve as a visual aid. In this case, I'm going to draw the circles that are going to be here, the lower part. So for that, I'm going to take a circle and center. I'm going to position myself over here, turn this line into a constructive line, and assign a value of 13.12 of diameter. Just going to move these dimensions. So here, where this line and this circle intersect, I'm going to draw a second circle that has a diameter of 0.60 times, and then I'm going to draw a line from here, coincident and coincident to this side. Just make sure it's not tangent. Going to draw it again, coincident here, but coincident here. Repeat the same steps for this side. Here I have to make it tangent. We're going to trim the excess to make it coincident. And then I'm going to give it a value. Between these two lines there's an angle of 30, and the same for the other side, 30. You can move a little bit this dimension over here. The next thing that I want to do is to draw the circle of the middle, which has a diameter of 0.75. Alright, and next we're going to trim this. Continue trimming, and we have a shaded area. Next thing is that I'm going to assign a rounding that has a 0.06 radius. Going to select this and this. If you look closely, you can see that it actually is making the rounding. There we have it. The second thing that I'm missing to draw is here square shaped piece. So I'm just going to use a line from the center, just here, and with the smart dimension, I'm going to assign a value of 1 to that line, and from the center to the line, we have a. Okay, we're going to repeat these steps. We're going to draw a line from the center, then I'm going to assign a value of 1, and from here to here I have a distance of 3.2. The next thing is just to simply draw some vertical lines that are coincident to the very next circle over here. I'm just going to simply trim the things that we don't need. Now we have to pay attention because we're going to use a new tool that is called matrix, a circular matrix. And the first thing that I have to do is to just click on this parameter and select the center of the piece. And then here I have the correct value of 360. We are going to need 4 entities. And here I have the entities for the matrix. So I'm just going to simply start clicking on the lines that I want to that I'm going to need to make to finish this piece. And if you look at this part, we have in yellow the pre-visualization of it. So I'm going to select this one as well, and you can see here. Alright. I'm going to trim this excess and this excess. This one as well. I'm going to trim this one as well, and now I have a completely defined sketch. I'm going to elongate this line just for visual, going to turn off the geometric relations, and I'm just missing this one to be repeated. So again, I'm going to use a circular matrix. So again, I'm going to click the center, 360, we need 4 times this piece, and I'm going to select it and click on OK. Then I'm going to trim and trim this side, trim this side. Okay, so now we have our finished sketch. The next thing that we want to do is just simply extrude and accept. And here we have our piece. Thank you so much for watching.